Hello there, I'm MountPain27 and this is Dean of Doom, the show where we give grades to classic and contemporary Doom wads. Why? Because ranking things is fun. Today's episode will be dedicated to Necromantic Thirst, a Boom-compatible megawad released in 2024 by the French Doom community and finalized the following year. At the end of Dean of Doom S3E3, I said, if there are any French mappers in the audience right now, I just want them to know that if Necromantic Thirst comes out, it's an automatic Dean of Doom episode. I meant that in the French sense, as in Necromantic Thirst had a normal 17-year development, and after it was finished, I automatically released this episode 2 years later. For those who don't know NT by reputation, this megawad was the holy grail of the French Doom community. Helmed by FranckFRAG and assistant supervised by William Huber, the green Goliath tantalized fans for years with cryptic screenshots and whispers of unimaginable danger. When first released on Halloween night 2024, it came with warnings regarding its high difficulty. Being ready won't always be enough, smiley face. And due to the length of some of the later maps, we strongly recommend taking breaks between playing sessions. Though I knew it to be mythically proportioned from the outset, I thought I was ready to experience this megawad. I was wrong. No one is ever really ready for Necromantic Thirst. This is the longest Dean of Doom episode that I will ever write, and despite my most strenuous efforts, it is an inadequate presentation of the glory and horror within. Without further delay, here's how the show works. Every map gets one grade for quality and one for difficulty. Quality grades go from A to F. Grade A levels are fun, memorable, visually distinctive, creative, and a fair challenge. We grade difficulty from X to E. X for extreme, E for easy, A through D in between. Remember that disagreeing is part of the fun, and at the end of the day, this show is about spreading the joy of Doom, so let's do so. The rules are, we play on ultra-violence and must pistol start each level. I need to play the wad twice before reviewing it. Saves are allowed, and we go for 100% kills in all levels, making exceptions when it's just not worth it. I played Necromantic Thirst on Z-Doom, switching to DSDA on performance-intensive levels, and today's compatibility is Boom. Unlike the other French wads that I've covered, Necromantic Thirst has almost no French titles for me to butcher, but with William Huber's help, I fixed that. Now, to the wad. Map 1, Conditionnement des L50. Too gentle to be believed as a Slaughter Juggernaut's opener, this lightly guarded poison plant is wrapped in mystery. LD50 refers to the median lethal dose of a substance, or how much of it is needed to kill half of a test group. Based on the complexion of these gun-toting goons, hell didn't stop till they hit LD100. FranckFRAG sets a high standard of beauty with his sumptuous texturing, trimming, and small environmental details, but the combat does hit a few odd notes. In such a non-linear layout, fights are quite easy to miss, and I wonder if some of these limping teleport ambushes were even needed at all. For me, LD50's appeal lives at its fringes. Use the crates to climb the crags and you'll find a berserk pack and tucked away computer map, and there's a chainsaw mounted on the outgoing side of this toxic drain. None of these goodies help your cause much, but they draw you into NT's world. Enjoy such diversions while you can. This map makes a jarring contrast with the terrors to come. Grade B+, difficulty D-. Map 2, Voltigo. Driven by a bouncing base borrowed from Back to Saturn X, Voltigo's bronze and concrete halls bristle with bullets, claws, and open jaws. William Huber is one of the best shotgun chaingun artists in the biz, and has made a tradition of frantic, low-tier violence in his megawad's early slots. I narrowly avoided giving him the first Mount Pain pelt, but it would have been less close if I found the rocket launcher earlier. You and I are gonna be good friends. It takes a while for my eyes to adjust to NT's visual edits. Blue shells, yellow-tipped rockets, green heavy weapon dudes, and an arsenal darkened by a dip in the river Styx, except the chain gun for some reason. The Cacodemon, reskinned cinder gray and belching green fire, appears during the yellow key sequence, which is very easy for fidgets like me to walk away from. The keycard, which is required to exit, materializes in the conversion of poison to sludge. If you miss it, you'll be sad. There's a secret sequence in the poison vat area whose obscurity and aesthetic remind me of Willow's Map 1 from the first Toisette d'Agonie. Sure enough, Voltigo was made only 3 years after that map, in 2015, a decade before NT's final release. You think that's old? You ain't seen nothing yet. Necromantic Thirst is a French Doom community time capsule, and extra special to Doom historians as such. Grade A-, difficulty D+. Map 3, Le Force de la Pierre. A serviceable tech base, clearly retrofitted with Willow-style chicanery. Stone strength takes less than 10 minutes to finish, which matters a lot, by the way, but otherwise didn't stick out to me. We're still short a super shotgun, but the rocket launcher compensates with the introduction of Hell Knights and Arachnotrons. Some of the early ambushes verge on petty, but the secret computer map can cue you in on some of them, and they are necessary for setting up the final rug pull. It's not the backstabbing that bothers me so much as there not being much else to comment on in this map. Other than this tinted water texture and the deep green sewer pipe nearby, the visuals, though competent, really don't grab me. Grade B-, difficulty D+. Map 4, Koshimar Aikai Dukom. Oxide's lone necromantic thirst contribution is scythe-sized, propulsive, and future tech decorated. The low-lit hub area evokes a more ornate E1M1, and again, the optional outdoor section suggests a world beyond the bounds of the grid. Between you and the yellow key is a stuck door, a heap of hit scanners, what the heck was that? Oh well, must have been my imagination. A long tunnel of ick, and your first rocket launcher pressure test. The Mancubus and Hell Knights dribbling from the hallway behind you hinder easy circle strafing, and the damaging floor forbids dithering. I didn't understand until weeks had passed that short maps are a commodity in this WAD, so I'll take a moment now to say Oxide, thank you. Frank, you do not get a thank you. Grade A-, difficult. Frank, you. Difficulty C+. Map 5, Goût du Poison. On October 31st, 2024, the triple whammy of Hell Revealed 2 music, 750 monsters, and map author Necrotic Flesh was enough to make me quit for the night. Taste the Poison terrorizes you for over half an hour and steps the intensity up several notches. Pumping out corrosive contaminant, this plan has gouged untold quantities of rock from the mountainside. Inferno forming the nearby caves is a test run for the rest of the world. Either the chemical fumes have hallucinatory effects, or these portals are linked to another green world. You'll have to wait and see. Taste the Poison is rude at times, and certainly harsh for map 5 and a megawad that so far has posed as normal. This early ductwork ambush pins you between Big Mouth and a host of hungries with only a shotgun. The rocket launcher security detail wastes the hasty, and once you dive into the caverns, all bets are off. This sinking bridge sequence is classic Willu Dread induction, and the first of this megawad's many rocket benders. Keen players may notice a natural column next to the dam. If you make the jump, shoot the buried switch, and check the corner of the other basin, you'll unlock a secret plasma fight and a free shot at those annoying arachnotrons. The showdown with Darth Saib is great and all, but my favorite moment of Taste the Poison has to be this. Embrasse-moi mon amour. I think this map is a few beats too many, and like its raging MIDI, does begin to grate when played for too long. Grade B+, difficulty A-. Footnote, there's no organic place to put this observation, but Necromantic Thirst has the badassest lost souls of all time, but the least scary barons. They're just steroided goats with jaundice. Map 6, Ila Tumur, which, after tasting poison, is to be expected. Brought to you by an entire kitchen of mappers and held together by a Cyrus MIDI that instantly initiates a flow state, and then you die looks like Speed of Doom but unfolds like Back to Saturn X. It's hefty for an early slot, warming up with shotgun and chain gun music as languorously as a single map release. These coiffed encounters escalate on a gentle incline, spread uniformly across the warehouses, bile dumps, and corridors. And then you die doesn't reach terminal velocity until you get a plasma, rocket launcher, and hopefully SSG in time for this colossal gate crash by the slime pond. Having generated some momentum, the international brain trust of designers finds a way to keep it going through the yellow and blue key hunts. The archvile is now in play, and he takes point on some sizzling surprises. I missed half of the 9 secrets, but the firm of Death, Dutch, Valk, Toenail, and Huber kindly decided, by committee, to keep all their monsters in the normal field of play. Thanks a million. I dozed through the first half of this map, but it won me over with a late outpouring of carnage and well-choreographed backtrack ambushes, and it's polished enough that no one would guess its components were Frankenstein together. Grade B+, difficulty B. Map 7, Grognement Sanglant, is one of the healthiest, most cheerful-looking maps in Necromantic Thirst. Earth-toned, carefully sculpted, with living grass and pockets of water yet unspoiled. It's so rare, Frank made it a secret. Jimmy's jolly organ and slap bass suit the breezy combat and make this intimidating preview more fun than scary. Even if you didn't catch an early look at the central fight, Frank gives you plenty of preamble. For me, it was more like, oh boy, than, This is far and away the cutest of FranckFRAG's patented floodgate fights, in which walls lower to reveal a lot of demons. This is 100. So keep that in mind for scale. I'm not sure what motivated the incorporation of dead simple mechanics here besides obligation. Killing the last Mancubus allows you to leave the cave by magic, and washing the itsy bitsy spiders out opens the exit. The final fight perplexes me as well. You can back out of the room any old time, and tripping the last line def gives you even more space to flee. It ends up being like one of those Wild West arcades where you shoot bottles and bean cans off fence posts. If any part of the map is worth groaning at, it's this. Grade B-, difficulty B.
Map 8, Necromantic Thirst, is death destiny, but in its own way, a hit scan of prey, a big metal maze. welcome to Rufy's world. It's boom compatible, it's anything but dull. I'm basking in the slime flowing out of its secrets. Yeah, they're everywhere. If you found all eight on very first play, then I'm gonna say you must have cheated, friend. Shotgun, yeah, it's all I've got. My boots are on the switch, the mastermind's a bitch. The cacos never give up trying to eat my face.
Once upon a time, I was the biggest Porcupine Tree fan you ever met. That band was at the center of my musical universe for years. I warned you all once before that I could write a whole digression on Porcupine Tree, but it'd be longer than the rest of this episode. So let it suffice to say that a Rufy map, titled after a PT track, generated excitement rarely seen from me. Positioned as the Nukage episode's magnum opus, Père d'une planète vide is enormous and methodical, as much a feast for the eyes as for an explorer's curiosity. Rufy may be married to vanilla compatibility, but he had an affair to remember with Boom. Just look at all this. Animated doors, pressure plates, an extendable bridge, spinning fans, and sirens. Ooh la la, steamy. With its abundance of precise teleport ambushes, turrets, supply depots, and rich secrets, all swaddled in that familiar balance of brown, green, and bronze, Black Planet is Rufy's most affectionate ode to Death Destiny. It might be an influence, but Disturbia has fewer moving parts, and its progression is no match for the intricacy of Rufy's. Trudging through caves, climbing ladders and crates, crossing 3D bridges, and locking yourself in high security zones, it takes concentration to follow the Frenchman around the complex, especially with so many off-road temptations. Despite Rufy's sterling efforts to tie everything together with a teleporter matrix, I still had trouble getting from point A to point B after the map was done shapeshifting. Gives a whole new meaning to you're somewhere, you're nowhere, you don't care. Except for the Spider Demon processing station and the clashes in the alarm hallway and exit, which feel more like applause than true challenges, Fear of a Blank Planet can easily be dismantled with patience and subterfuge. Rufy doesn't auto-run when he plays Doom, so if you're struggling with something, slow down, and don't be a knucklehead like me. Find that super shotgun before the end of the map. I was slightly disappointed to see that Fear of a Blank Planet was Rufy's only Necromantic Thirst map, but it's nearly an hour long, so only a fool would complain. Then again, maybe I can make a chorus out of it.
How can we get through to Rufy? The maps that he's been making capture me. I need to know that Rufy sees this. You're just too good, we need you all day.
I'm looking forward to Anesthetize in NT2. Grade A, difficulty B+. Map 9, Soyeur Liquide. A lightweight run-and-gun that spills across the Port de Tever, Liquid Filth is the last Necromantic Thirst map you're likely to finish in under 10 minutes. After Rufy's slime opera, its restraint is disarming, comparable to Valiant E3 or Resurgence's Earth maps, but Iconics is like a stranger in this megawad. Liquid Filth lacks the Baroque layout and detailing present in even short Necro T maps, somehow evading both Frank and Willow's scalpels. I'd go so far as to call it underutilized. This floor in the hub area can be raised, it seems, only to get the super shotgun. This sort of thing begs for some additional function, perhaps a secret. I'm also thrown by the ending, which fizzles harmlessly and just bows out. Liquid Filth is undoubtedly diverting, but it doesn't make the most sense except as a breather. Grade B-, difficulty B-. Map 10, Mercure Quadre. Did you hear that? Maybe you can't yet, but I can hear it. That's Necromantic Thirst preparing to change gears. Quadra Mercury opens with a heap of low-tier troops, a couple of nicely pedestaled weapons, and a searing double archvile fight complicated by chain gunners. It's the distractions that'll get you here. I see Hell Revealed and Kama Sutra in this map's roots. The progression quirks, dense violence, Hell Noble courts, and shameless surprise attacks would please Gusta and Method, Donner and Niv. And maybe it's just me, but brown brick squares like this just scream Hell Revealed. Every so often, Frank will come up with a visual that compares with nothing I've seen. The plasma rifles framing the dark BFG is such a fun association, like the big gun is a megazord of the little ones. Besides debuting the black fire gun, Quadra Mercury is most notable for rolling out the Flappy Baron, which we really ought not laugh at. He's called the Hunter of Darkness. He takes less damage than a Baron and tosses 3 fireballs in rapid succession, flapping his wings as he does. FranckFRAG's second Floodgate is the highlight of this map, and I completely forgot it existed until I replayed Quadra Mercury. Very soon, you'll understand what I mean. Grade B+, difficulty A-. Map 11, Mal de Rayon. It was inevitable. No one who spends this much time slogging through nuclear dump sites escapes with more than half a life. The question is, will you make it count? One of the defining maps of Necromantic Thirst, radiation sickness is intricately interwoven, hard-hitting, and dramatic. Early on, you'll encounter a twitchy lift that leads to a locked red door. You can find the red key on a pedestal to the north, flanked by switches of the other two colors. The mission is clear, but first-timers may flounder for a bit, what with the bullets in their eyes and green fire melting their limbs. In radiation sickness, there is avoidable pain, and there is unavoidable pain. Chain gunners, enviro damage, and sniper fire are omnipresent, but manageable with the right amount of confidence. There are 4 rocket launchers in this map, and I recommend acquiring one as soon as possible. It controls crowds better than plasma, and it's vital for time-sensitive encounters like this Flappy Baron procession. The mounted cyber demon is a problem which you can choose to live with until you get the telefrag, or you can stare him down from here at the cost of some cells. With the keys that combine to make green, take the red key, gulp at this motherload of supplies, and forget it. There's no way to mentally prepare for what's down here. Willu dissolves 3 dozen goats in acid vats as an offering to Lucifer, the poison plummets, and Necromantic Thirst lets it rip. Cacodemons billow from a dark concrete maw, revenants open fire from their pyramidal perch, a cyberdemon roars, and a massive Mancubi collides with a bucket of bones. 3 archviles spectate, and 2 more wake up the dead. The fingers of this fight wrap around your throat so quickly and so tightly that you'll die before your first rad suit runs out if you don't have a plan. My best idea was to bomb the sideline vials and pray the other 2 stayed busy, for the cyber to ignore me, and for the cacos to let me pass between them just once. I died a lot. This caustic conclusion elevates radiation sickness from solid to unforgettable at the cost of filtering people who didn't know what they were getting into. They were the lucky ones. Grade A, difficulty X-. Map 12, Retourne-toi dans ta tombe. As the night sky blue deepens and stars begin to poke through, so too shall shades of green begin to darken. Turn in your grave starts ungently. In fact, I would suggest setting your pace to tiptoe for the first 5 minutes. Frank and Death Evocation have wired the place such that every way you step sets off a trap. With patience and elbow grease, you'll find an opening to snap up the SSG. I do question the logic of placing the non-secret rocket launcher up on this AC unit, where it's only reachable by a teleporter sitting in the drink. That's definitely going to bug some people, Mount Pain from 2024 included. With your bread and butter weaponry secured, you should have no trouble toasting the base, but what do we have here? Under blazing stadium lights, big-shouldered brutes rush out of opposing tunnels. This FranckFRAG floodgate is like Monday Night Football if it was Doom. After about 2,000 unnecessary roughness penalties, the game ends in a scoreless tie with 1 green-jerseyed Marine left standing. Retrieve the skull, spike the archviles, and take a knee. Grade A-, difficulty A-. Map 13, Un pas en avant vers la terreur. This is FranckFRAG's most complex, scenic, and oppressive map yet, designed to initiate the slow transition from Necro T's toxic bases to its green hell. Despite its modest monster count, this map took me nearly an hour to clear, and not just on account of getting lost. A step forward into terror isn't ultra complicated once you get to know it, but acclimating takes a while, and boy does Frank bring the friction. After this pitfall, you're stuck in a courtyard downpour of bullets, rockets, and flames with nothing but a shotgun and chain gun, a pickle even without the progression puzzle that awaits. If you flee around the building and take the elevator back to the start, a switch emerges from a crate, which unlocks a hall leading to the westward upper deck. Follow the path to the switch, which unlocks a tower from which you can jump to the yellow key. The key is in plain sight, but easy to lose track of in this stressful environment. I bumbled into this helipad rocket launcher tucked behind a side door, got a secret backpack exploring the slime canyon, and grabbed the key by accident running into this teleporter, which dropped me onto a megasphere that I had already jumped to. If you're gunning for the finish line, the map becomes more straightforward after that. The yellow key immediately unlocks blue, and blue unlocks the fortress, where a shootout awaits in this glistening green, cadaver-decked cavern. The roaming cyber and Flappy Barons will wear each other out, but watch out for spectators and that cyber turret. Speaking of which, you'll probably want that green armor he's sitting on anyway, but until you walk over it, these bars stay locked, which keeps you from pressing this button and letting yourself out. Count yourself fortunate if you find the plasma rifle within half an hour of shooting the switch that unlocks it. 100% kills is a luxury objective here, folks. More like too many steps backward into confusion. Grade B-, difficulty A. Map 14, Fais confiance. On est la science. Now we're cooking with gas. Smashing Mechadon's secret-rich sprawls into Skillsaw's combat know-how with a particle accelerator, trust us where science could power a small town with its brilliance and intensity. You just can't understand what sets a Yugi Boy map apart until you're in one. It's like waking up somewhere you've never been, yet knowing where to go. instinct-driven, a chemical reaction. Look at this. Hit a switch and bam, nukage and shotgunners, guarding a rad suit. Grab it and bam, chain gunners and revenants. Blow up the barrels, here come pinkies, turn around and there are imps. Blow them all up, get the super shotgun. Okay, how do we get out of here? Rad suit's a tickin'. Hitting the switch starts another ambush, boom, click, click. Pain elementals chugging away in the back. Knock them all out just as your hazmat expires. Grab another, press a switch, and bam, an archvile lands flush on a pile of bodies. This is just one room. If you can keep up, and experienced players will keep up, it feels like improvising music. Yugi Boy waves his baton and bombs come whistling down. They land in 5/4 time. There's more to Trust Us We're Science than gunplay. It's a pleasant rummage for the last 20% of the kills, and lots of goodies are hidden behind shootable switch doors and through secret teleporters. The most highly telegraphed of these is the Clifftop Invul, which also gives you some backpacks and cells to help fry Saib in the heavyweight title fight. The optional yellow key path takes you on a ride up an imp staircase with a pair of vials converging through the infested ductwork and down to the basement, where the case of the phantom kills at the start will be closed. I would be moved by this map if I were part of the Back to Saturn X team. Yugi Boy captures the gravitas of that world without skipping out on its whimsical touches and infuses his homage with a passion that only true love brings. Hats off. Grade A, difficulty A. Map 15, Sous la Colline. Oh boy. I can't discuss Necromantic Thirst without mentioning the dread. The dread says, it's too much. You cannot wrap your head around this. You are not enough. And you know it. There are maps in NT.WAD that turn my stomach, blur my vision, bitch slap me to some corner to cry my eyes out. This is the first of those maps. Below the Hill is bigger than big. Enormity is its entire point. Well, that and serenading Darkwave Speed of Doom maps, especially 6, 14, and 16. After Frank drops you into the show, it could take you 15 minutes to find your feet, or maybe even more than that. There are places you simply must not disturb early on, but you can only learn that the hard way. For me, step 1 is to break into the base facing the Arachno blocks and get the rocket launcher. From there, I head to this building and try to survive what's inside. The Megasphere, rocket launcher, and plasma rifle help with the revenants, but let the cybers do most of the work. When you take the blue key, 6 archviles spring out, so make a game plan. To compensate for the rocket drought early on, you can find a secret stash tucked behind the slime cascade, but it's not free. And by the way, if you don't like archviles mixed into menial encounters, archviles walking around like it's no big deal, or archviles watching every goddamn move you make everywhere at all times, the Necromantic Thirst is not the megawad for you. The blue key depot is the fork in the road between the yellow and red keys. The red key path takes you right over a sleeping bear that you cannot rouse under any circumstances. Behind the cacos lies the tricolor door that we visit at map's end. I don't quite follow Frank along this route. You cross the scary gap, walk from the BPRD teleporter onto a mastermind's head, then meander towards the vial tower, press a button, and I stumbled into a slimy, semicircular slaughterfest, then half an hour later found this cell breadcrumb trail. Figuring out where to go is the hard part of the red key path. The yellow key is another matter. After scaling some convenient boxes, running past a truckload of imps because why bother, and kicking in another compound's door, the weight of this map begins to buckle my knees. It's the vastness, coupled with the successive, concussive blows that it deals with so few foes. The volcanic crater platform battle doesn't even have to hit hard to put me on the ropes, though of course it does. Covering my face, waiting for the bell, I'm contemplating this. Below the hill is bigger than itself. It's an underground nuclear facility, a cavern city, a black metal megachurch, a mantle mining operation, a gateway to hell. It suggests more than it could ever contain, and if you want to see what it contains, come back to the cacos, pick up the megasphere, and run to the door. Shooting rockets at this? Throwing pebbles into the ocean? What's the difference? Should you choose to dig below the hill, you will find Necromantic Thirst, a seething mass of death, 5,000 strong, and the first glimpse of that awful, awful dread. There's a lot more where that came from, Marine. We're only halfway there. Grade A, difficulty X. Footnote, when I finished Below the Hill, I thought this might have actually taken 16 years to make. And then I read the text file. Frank made this map in 2023. You Frenchies never cease to amaze me. Map 31, Simeon Le Rouge. Taking its name from a character in the Sun Eater book series, Simeon Le Rouge poses as a respite with its tiny monster count, small scale, and tech-based scenery, but it's neither short nor cozy, fusing tough combat with even tougher brain teasers. Indoors, Frank brings swift death with crowded SSG-only battles where Archviles elbow past Revenants, Hell Knights, and Imps to greet you. Step outside and you'll get the rocket launcher, chain gun, and a better look at Frank's chiseled topography. The red laser details cut right through eyeballs conditioned to Necro T's favorite color. The wire-framed geometric figures, oscillating force field lifts, and metallic accents are razor sharp, unquestionably Le Rouge's calling card, but unfortunately I'm more likely to remember its super secret ending. 3 of Le Rouge's 4 secrets are made to entice players into solving its big riddle, offering peeks at far-off prizes and strange machinery. But Secret 4, the alternate exit access point, is unlocked by a shootable switch that opens an unmarked wall across the base for just a few seconds. Yikes. Once inside the cave, you have to find another shootable skull, hurry down the elevator, and skip across the blocks before the bars close. All this for a chance to spend another 5 minutes figuring out an overcomplicated Archvile and Cyberdemon fight. Stay off the red circle, use the green buttons to unlock 4 more goddamn shootable switches, then it's all aboard Sunlust Map 29, except it's just the cleanup part of the Archvile carousel. Simeon Le Rouge is obtuse, protracted, and unsatisfying for those who leave no stone unturned. Grade C+, difficulty A+. Map 32, Kea Famille. Like a renovated Toisette d'Agonie outtake, Hungry Hearts is neither exceptional, nor gimmicky, nor rewarding enough to make the detour to 32 worth it. The French have already taken the slime-based concept as far as it can go, and Hungry Hearts' setting, while handsome, feels redundant. In the text file, Frank claims he went out of his way to make a generous, hassle-free map in the style of Skillsaw, but I don't think he succeeded. The opening is prickly, with Frank retaining his trademark density, the BFG fight swallows those who fail to actually spot the big gun, and the ending comes closest to delivering popcorn thrills, but these Archvile piston platforms cripple the momentum. Even knowing you have to ride them up and shoot the switches in the Revenant Guard towers, waiting for the silos to descend wastes a full minute. Necromantic Thirst's secret maps are better experienced at the end of your playthrough or in isolation. They disrupt the Megawad's dramatic arc and play more like deleted scenes than bonus stages. Grade B-, difficulty A-. Map 16, Déchirure par Déchirure. Here, at the hinge of Necromantic Thirst, we meet Dislogical. Though he appears in no other major French Doom releases, he manages to capture the exact flavor that this Megawad needed after Map 15's unveiling. For a while, you may scrub the slime-licked cliffsides frustrated, without a way forward, but soon you'll find a bunker and a cavern haunted by grumbling ghosts. The apprehension builds with the MIDI's fancy fretwork, and uninvited guests accumulate outside. Storm clouds are rolling in. The yellow keycard unlocks a door, you step through a teleporter, and that's when lightning strikes. No French Doom wad would be complete without old-school slaughter set to guitar shredding, and Dislogical goes even further, turning this brutal centerpiece into a metaphor for the Megawad. They will come in droves. They will make your rockets look puny, and they'll whittle you down, strip the skin from your back, lash by lash. That sounds cool and all, but the demons are idiots, and will end up lashing each other 1,000 times more than they lash you. Hurry to the Satyr switch, snag the red key, scoop up the BFG, and squash the Vile Uprising with some help from your bionic buddies. If only Lash by Lash knew when to cash in its chips. The Skull Key circuit that closes out the map has one bright spot in this bite-sized BFG freakout, but backtracking from dead ends takes a toll, especially with the Cyber on the loose. Cage bar, cover, and spare cells render the final fight disappointing, and 35 minutes in, I do not appreciate stuff like this. Even if it's harsh and somewhat overlong, Lash by Lash deploys disquiet with the best of them, and its finest moments are metal. Grade A-, difficulty A+. Map 17, Royaume Cryptique. Did you get plenty of sleep last night? Are you clear-headed and free from distraction? Are you of sound mind? Okay, maybe don't answer that one, because you're playing Necromantic Thirst, but replies to questions 1 and 2 must be oui if you're to venture into cryptic realms. This is essentially a binary map consisting of two simple setups, tangled and deranged by their execution. The first half is a pair of mazes filled with archviles. A riff on Plutonia's Hunted, except gravity's not working right, and every single vial encounter is a jump scare. Ammo's scarce, so try to finish them off with fists. The object of the game is to convey your clone upstream by raising pillars, but this is where it gets tricky. The switches that raise the pillars are locked, and so are the switches that unlock them. Let's back up. In each maze, there's a skull switch with a trap involving other demons. These unlock lion switches, guarded by a handful of vials, which will unlock switches at the start, and those are the switches that raise the pillars. Any questions? I'm just kidding, I can't actually hear you. Oh yeah, and don't forget about the Revenant switches either. They clear the way to this teleporter, which unlocks the final pillar raising switch, which was sitting in plain sight by the yellow key this entire time. Teamwork. After that 20-minute preamble, it's time to grab a BFG, enter the dark cave, and face the other 720 monsters. From here, both of my playthroughs took the same trajectory. I set to work with high enthusiasm, ready to stretch my legs and bust some heads. 40 minutes later, that enthusiasm was kaput. Cryptic Realms' slaughter half is death by 1,000 distractions. Stray cyber rockets hurtling through pitch blackness, fireballs blown like sheets of rain, archviles sneering from watchtowers and singling you out in the crowd. It is such an ordeal to climb these stairs with so many demons watching. The red key wave floods the place with revenants and a few dollops of archviles, which Dislogical at least has the decency to offer you an invuln for, albeit one guarded by a mastermind and 4 megs in the box. The cybers are surprisingly little help, and the pissant guarding the entrance will likely be the only one left alive when you ring the final bell and all the flappy barons show up. I don't regret doom wikiing this megasphere secret. Between archvile resurrections and the crisscross of a couple hundred snotballs, I needed the extra margin for error. There is something dislogical indeed about liking this map. Its allure is vampiric. Submitting to it a second time, knowing that it would steal my blood, made me feel like a fool, but I did it anyway. Is that love? Grade B-. Difficulty X-. Map 18, Calaga. Shh. They're sleeping. One of my favorite things about Necromantic Thirst is that its hell is vain. It has to look beautiful while it destroys you, and that might be its only weakness. From the astonishing opening shot to your leap down the Well of Souls, Calaga puts its whole cold heart into looking perfect. Twirling flames gutter in the inky darkness. Dead bodies dangle like Christmas ornaments. Obsidian splits and melts and cracks and bleeds baleful green. FranckFRAG's lighting is arresting. The magic circles, faint floodlights, and pulsing cycles glimmer with strange power. He decorates his palace with shadows. The quiet is almost unbearable. All of Calaga's fights are stumbled into, and while the 3 keys can be collected in the wrong order, Frank never quite leaves you in the lurch. The blue key is the easiest to acquire by far if you can handle the jump scare. You're given tons of space, primo weapons, copious ammo, and a complimentary cyber demon. The red key fight unfolds slowly, from archvile-infected pincer attack to a deafening green cascade. Watch the black dots clot and count your rockets. You don't have enough, do you? Sure, you can flee. There's plenty of loot washed down here from shipwrecks long forgotten. There's even a BFG. Do you want it badly enough? You better run. The yellow key fight starts with a jolt of fear, but your spirits will sink even lower when Frank opens his inevitable floodgates. I'd load an old save if you don't have a plasma weapon for this. Without the power to punch through the horde, you'll be engulfed or ground up in the crossfire like Doom Guy Chuck. With the full set of keys, you're free to leave, but unless you can quickly snuff a cyber at close range, I wouldn't think about checking out yet. Flappy Barons cease to be a joke when they come in packs, and archviles survey the full length of the bridge, so I have no idea how to survive this without swiping Syb's hiding spot. Necromantic Thirst tends to inspire horror of a real-life variety down the stretch, but Calaga catches Frank at the peak of his powers before he and the team completely untether themselves from reality. Inspiration, my nightmares. Grade A+. difficulty A+. Map 19, Rêve le complot le plus noir. So foul and fair a day I have not seen. This doleful castle, covered in the dust of purgatory, is a crossroads both inside and out of its megawad's world. Perhaps it's the Tristan Clark MIDI tugging my memory, but the deliberate rhythm of Yugi Boy's dungeon crawl seems to acknowledge Dragonfly and especially Baul's medieval maps from Eternity 2. Tangerine Nightmare also seems to weigh on his mind. Use your imagination. Change the greens and blues to shades of orange, and tell me this doesn't evoke J.C. Doran's similarly somber TN Map 6 or Yugi Boy's own Map 5. The battle with the Black Knight at the castle gate even mirrors the cyber duel at the end of Orange Juice. Unfold the Darkest Scheme also sits on a dimensional fold, which to pass through turns your vision red. Again, I'm reminded of Eternity 2, this time Liberation's Map 17. These comparisons subtract nothing from Yugi Boy's work. His design fluency is undeniable, and such nods to other people's work make the Doom community's collective heart bigger. Though your rocket launcher will bellow and your plasma rifle burn blue hot, Unfold the Darkest Scheme holds back the worst and lays down quietly once all 3 skulls are retrieved. We're on damnation's doorstep now. Maybe that's why I'm so loath to leave this map's musty embrace, and it so loath to let me go. Grade A, difficulty A-. Map 20, Emeraldius Mons. Even with demon claws dug into it, Emeraldius Mons exudes Olympian peace. Its shimmering gemstone accents and antique splendor remind me of the Japanese mapper Manbu's work, both Water Spirit and his Map 27 from JPCP, the super green one, of course. Your weapons, lounging in the water below, are guarded by traps which escalate in severity as Frank adds archviles. The rocket launcher's extraction is the diciest by far. There's a ring of fire around this tower which you'll have to splash to death or conscript this cyber demon to put out. Since walls lower as you complete objectives down here, the vile party will run amok reviving everything if you flee, so don't. With the red and blue skulls, you must return to the temple and face parades coming up and down the stairs. With 2 megaspheres and a steady supply of teleporting ammo, the finale is much more tolerable than I expected it to be. The secret BFG is somewhat unnecessary, and it took me a moment to figure out the release on the yellow bars blocking the exit, but I have no other complaints with this map. I had written in my notes that, quote, Emeraldius Mons closes out NTE2 with a short, sharp shock, but it took me 25 minutes to reach the exit while recording. One way or another, Necromantic Thirst will institutionalize you. Either you'll be unable to reacclimate to short maps, or you'll crash right into the cuckoo's nest. Grade A-, difficulty A. Map 21, Chapelle aux Ghouls. Although not much scarier than an Alien Vendetta afternoon, Chapel of the Ghouls sets a funereal tone for NT's final stretch. Netherworld frost has killed all the trees and left silver fairy circles in the grove. The walls are packed with stale bones, spirit viscera, and secrets. As for the gameplay, you have to play half avoidant, half aggressive. You're never topped off on ammo, but the hair trigger traps require immediate responses even if your backpack is light. Lucky you if you actually find the backpack, by the way. The wandering cyber poses a problem only until you secure weapon 6 and lure him out of his playpen, where 2 bulk cells sit. The only other fight to watch out for is the last one. This Plasma Fest has got to be William Huber's handiwork. The glut of ammo, revenant spam, and vials come backdoor knocking all set off willow alarms in my head. Grade B+, difficulty B+. Map 22, Les Observateurs du Néant. This hurts. Darkwave is one of my favorite mappers of all time, and the Void Watchers seems to be his quintessence. A supermassive subterranean slime paradise, a bronze base stashed with goodies carefully arranged, a constant sprint through hurricanes of fire and bones, a dance to the death with dozens of pale partners. The Void Watchers was my most anticipated map in this megawad, and it stomped on my heart. I wanted so much to fall in love with the Void Watchers. I played it twice, and it was 4 hours of toil and misery, and only not as bad the second time because the depression began to give way to acceptance by the end. The last thing I want to do is torch one of my mapping heroes, so I'll explain myself as concisely as I can. The Void Watcher's central conceit works against the kind of gameplay that Darkwave is good at. In 180 MPV, Darkwave flirted with the idea of depowering the player by doing plasma-only slaughter, but here he takes that concept even further. The plasma rifle and rocket launcher are locked Disturbia style behind a red card and skull respectively, and not only that, you are on starvation rations in combat spaces health-wise. All major recovery items and good armor are locked behind blue keys or buried in secrets, and the red key paths are the two hardest sections of the map no matter what weapons you take in. They are riddled with tripwires, archviles, and time-consuming obstructions. Against this onslaught, the super shotgun and chain gun are all you have. In this recording, it took me 40 minutes to acquire the plasma rifle, and I didn't fire a rocket until 80 minutes in, at which point all but one difficult fight had been extinguished already. I'll run through fire if there's something sweet enough on the other side, but that's the problem with this map. Weapons are only valuable until you get to use them. Okay, except the super secret BFG. When it's finally time to indulge, the supply caches feel obscene. Darkwave so conditions the player to famine that they can't enjoy the feast, and what a cruel famine it is. Puny stacks of shells and skids of minor medical supplies are guarded like treasures. Resurrected corpses devour your shells while recycled zombies and distant turrets scrape away health. And what's our revenge? We get to scatter the survivors with rockets at cleanup time. Don't think the secrets will save you either. Platters of health bonuses, a couple green armors, even this telefrag secret is a misfire. If you use it too late, you may well have already killed everything it takes care of, and bizarrely, finding it early will make both blue key paths harder. The Mastermind provides crucial distraction in the basin, and the cyber turret disperses the rabble by the blue skull key. The only two secrets that matter are the BFG and the invuln, and the former is practically necessary to survive the final fight. Locking it with a barely visible secret switch makes no sense. But then again, Darkwave depriving himself of the offense that immortalized him doesn't make much sense either. My last straw was getting splattered by a cyber demon turret that respawns specifically to shoo you away from the center of the final fight, the safest place in a seething mess with low survival odds at the end of an in-game hour of struggle. Disappointment isn't the right word, because Darkwave owes me nothing, but the Void Watchers fills me with actual despair. I may have good reasons, but I've never liked myself less for hating a Doom map. Grade D, difficulty X. Map 23. Changement spectral. I'm afraid. Why? It's just a data core map. Handsome gothic halls and nature scenes. Harmless, right? Well, no. Datacore may have drawn a lot of Spectral Shift's lines, but after this Revenant Swarm, it's Willow all the way to Curtain Call. The first serious fight is a Stardate 20XD6 inspired Archvile tennis match played between herky-jerky platforms with Skellies and Flappy Barons spectating. Don't shoot them or they'll turn into Archviles. By the time the switch which allows you to escape the melee opens, you might need a new pair of pants. The shootout with a caged Cyber, Caco Flock, and Groundlings takes guts to outlast. The lack of BFG makes you susceptible to checkmate by asphyxia, and the Flappy Barons are especially relentless. Actually, I think by now they've earned the right not to be mocked. Hunters it is. Half an hour has gone by, and still, with its clockwork noise, percussion, and ghostly strings, this MIDI churns away, promising the worst, freezing me with that hanging drone. I didn't recognize it at first, but of course it's another Hell Revealed 2 transplant. HR2 has come up big for the French many times, but never more so than in Spectral Shift. Behind the door with the white sigil is the source of all that fear you've been feeling. Are you ready to meet them? The hungry old ones. Gray tumors with limp, spindly appendages, reclining like cats, slurping down souls like caviar. They always need more. They'll always have more. I write about Doom with a certain amount of sensationalism. Stuff I describe as scary does not actually scare me much, but these colorless things smiling at me with their up mouths. I don't like them, and that's why I love them. I haven't seen anything like this in any medium. It's the place where death itself was made. It's amazing. What a magic show. This is a sequence worth celebrating until the end of Doom itself. I am so grateful to have witnessed it. Now, since it's a Necromantic Thirst map, Spectral Shift does go on for another 30 minutes, but the extended lead-out keeps your mind on what you just went through, denying you the refreshment of an intermission screen and change of music. The last few encounters also do their damnedest to take you down. If you thought the multi-part cave fight with the Hungry Old One cut deep, try this hooved compactor on for size. It's a long, tense game of Space Invaders on two fronts that expects precise megasphere intake and ends with a sickening surprise. In a megawad filled with macabre imagery, in a video game all about killing, Spectral Shift is one of the only maps I've ever seen look mortality in the eye for real. Grade A+, difficulty X-. Map 24, Ruine de Corsica. Half swallowed in swamp bile, Corsica ruins cannot prevent its own slow decay, nor mitigate its high acidity. FranckFRAG intended for this to be a breather before the last push, and it still took me 45 minutes. Good job. I used the first 20 to gather skull keys, prizes for surviving kill zones stocked with field medics, and I had to spend 25 on the last two fights. It's not about the size of the floodgates, it's about how much room you have to run from what comes out of them, and this gorge fills up quick. Half a dozen pain elementals close the road wherever they float, revenants converge quickly, and vials are right behind them with a waddling cave troll escort. You can't park in a corner because you'll run out of rockets, but if you draw them out and spread them across the canyon like butter on moldy bread, that should sow enough confusion for you to duck into one of their cubbies. The final fight is one of those where beef spills out a door with a resurrection squad behind it. The tailing cacodemons are only there to scramble your auto-aim. Clunky send-off aside, Corsica Ruins keeps your sword sharp and provides room to regroup before you face the first of Necro T's true colossi. Grade B+, difficulty A+. Map 25, Libéré du Réel. Freed from the real slips material constraints. It can't be captured, or contained, or explained. I don't have proper footage for this map. It obliterates performance on even the newest version of DSDA, and that's with setting my screen size to 720 by 480, lowering my FPS, and using OpenGL lighting. I don't have a powerful computer, but it's Doom. I could only finish Freed from the Real using the Hellion port, which runs it ably, but the map crushed my OBS encoder with its bare hands. The footage was mostly unusable, but that's alright, because even video can't show you what it feels like to play this. I've lived through maps with higher body counts, set in environments more humbling, but Freed from the Real has moments that are like seeing the face of God. Ecstatic, mind-destroying, indescribable. How unfortunate for me, whose task it is to try to describe such moments. Freed from the Real is structurally uncomplicated. It's a castle nestled in the crook of two vast, demon-filled caverns. The red and blue keys unlock the BFG, and while red can be acquired easily by clearing the nook on the north side, obtaining the blue key is probably the greatest challenge in Necromantic Thirst, and one of the 3 hardest fights I have ever endured. The sludge sinks, 2 spider demons appear, and a massive worm slithers from its cave, preceded by archviles and a clutch of pain elementals. In the collision of fireballs and flaming craniums, you must somehow weaken the worm enough to sneak behind it before it smothers you, but that's just the first phase. Entering the worm cave releases several teams of archviles which cannot be neutralized or evaded, only entangled in a cacophonic infighting frenzy. Hopefully. Before the noble worm comes home, you must somehow unlock the blue key, escape its death trap, and use the newly opened revenant passageways to weave around the fray as opposing forces slowly annihilate each other. You can only survive the carnage and bear witness until you get the BFG. This is the FranckFRAG Floodgate fight for all time, the antidote to the Blue Key's futility and frustration, and the most heroic set piece in Necromantic Thirst. For all mankind, you and your high-tech Excalibur charge through the dark multitudes, your glory serenaded by psychedelic eyeballs, glistening bells, and celestial strings. In what other video game can you find such a proving ground? What other medium accommodates the turning of such impossible odds? A speck of bright light in an all-consuming nothingness. It will not go out today. But Freed from the Real is still not over, unfortunately. Frank's humanity reveals itself in his not knowing when to quit while he's ahead. It's a French thing, I guess. Across the drawbridge and through the yellow key door lies an exit gauntlet so packed with hunters, archviles, and cyber demons that it jumps the shark. Even taking the back door to the vile cyber room with an invulnerability invites disbelieving chuckles, or it would if the player was capable of emotion at this point. The first lines I wrote upon finishing this map were these: unthinkably massive. I feel stunned, emotionless, not nearly as thrilled as the first time I played it. The BFG fight is awesome, but the rest of the map is so punishing. Need to set down NT for several days. I cannot think. I seriously cannot think. Freed from the Real is a biblical rumble beyond comprehension. So monotonic, obsessive, and oppressive that it cannot be ignored. It makes you step outside yourself. All this to say, Freed from the Real prepares you for William Huber. Grade A, difficulty X+. Anyone who makes it this far in a Necromantic Thirst will probably require counseling after, and anybody who plays it a second time definitely needs professional help. But before the whitecoats try to wrap a very large straitjacket around my slopes, I'd like to try to explore a bit of cognitive dissonance I'm having. On one hand, I love the French Doom community's unhinged mega slaughter and all the getting blown up and burnt to a crisp that goes with it. On the other hand, it leaves me exhausted, and anxiety over having to play the next 5 maps is burning a hole in the pit of my stomach. This goes to the core of my relationship with Doom. The game keeps me occupied, but it doesn't make me happy anymore. Reveling in what other people have made and reflecting their inspiration back to them in the form of these video essays is what gives Doom purpose for me. Since 2021, Doom hasn't been entertainment so much as a means of connecting with people, and that's why Necromantic Thirst has been difficult to cover. I'm so fond of the French. I'm enamored of their imagination and impressed by their work, but they made something that even fervent fans of Doom find difficult to complete. The stage seems set for burnout, or whatever you want to call the engine-smoking upset of being unable to enjoy something you want to enjoy, let alone share that potential enjoyment and wonder with people. It's human nature to blame our bad feelings on something, but when it comes to video games, we are responsible for our own happiness, or lack thereof. Certainly, Frank and Willu could have made Necromantic Thirst appeal to a broader base of players. They could have made it easier and shorter and maybe even a little less green, but then it would cease to be Necromantic Thirst. Just as they had the choice to curry the masses' favor, the masses can choose to change the channel, and so it is. Creators compromise or they do not. Players search for things that speak to them, cherishing the kindred spirits they find. What is causing me stress is this. I admire Necromantic Thirst for so decisively making choices that filter me as a player. I'm simply not skilled enough, and not strong enough to endure it, and just as inadequate at describing it. And as a result, I resent it even as I respect it. When I cry, it's too much, what that really means is, I am too small. But really, is anybody big enough for Necromantic Thirst? I'm just pounding on the walls of a padded cell now. Let's try to get through the rest before they sedate me. Map 26, Pulsation Obscure. With all the subtlety of a cinder block dropped from a 7th story window, Dark Pulse rings in Necromantic Thirst's last phase. In maps 26 through 29, William Huber will deploy 4 of Hell's greatest armies, totaling almost 16,000 monsters. Believe it or not, Dark Pulse is the least oppressive of those 4 assaults, probably because the Willu who conceived it was 17 years younger than the Willu who put on its finishing touches. Like I said way back at the beginning, Necromantic Thirst is a French Doom community time capsule, and Dark Pulse is the megawad's testament to their love of old-fashioned slaughter. It explicitly evokes Hell Revealed's Postmortem and Kama Sutra's Hard Target, taking secondary inspiration from Eternal's one-off slaughter maps while hammering you with holy hell-sized formations. Dark Pulse is unabashedly over the top, even primitive, and that's exactly why I like it. It's your stubbornness against their pure numbers. Thousands of BFG beams against shelves of revenants, hunters, hell knights, and archviles, clouds of lost souls, and platoons of cyber demons. Willu somehow launders everything I hated about Hard Target into a pleasant sense of overkill. There's a Sunder-like reverie to this grind. Even the patchwork progression of guess-and-checking teleporters, backtracking, and endless refueling doesn't really bother me. The secrets are kind of obnoxious, though. Many are tucked at the map's slimy edges, which cost half a rad suit to even reach. That's okay. I know where the two most important ones are. The early BFG provides essential pest control at the start, and this teleporter buried in the southeast corner contains an automap and nested secret invuln. Hold that thought. Dark Pulse's yellow skull key is one of the most well-guarded things in the Doomverse. After playthrough 2, I made the staggering discovery that it takes 30 seconds to acquire it in no monsters mode. In this recording, it took me almost an hour. That's how much shit is in the way. But wait, there's more. I feel like Mickey Mouse in Fantasia, drowning in a mess of my own making. I should never have touched that key. Made of 1,000 hungry grimaces, this Kako supercell oozes forward, shrugging off hundreds of rockets and BFG shots, choking the air with glittering fire, overrunning land bridges, getting stuck in buildings, carpeting the ground with bulbous corpses. It's terrifying and hilarious and hugely entertaining. Only in Doom. Where the Kako's dead and the Blue Skull liberated, you can raise a bridge to the final fight, prime it with one switch press, retreat for that secret invuln, and then crash the gate. You might see tedium, excess, ridiculousness. I see them too. But I also see innocence. Dark Pulse shines with memories of boyhood God mode romps and bursts with love for the slaughter maps of old. Grade A, difficulty X. Map 27, Neo Damarung. Part 1. 3 years after Eric Alm scared players stiff with Dancing Mad in another Map 27, William Huber set to work on what would be his first contribution to Necromantic Thirst. From 2008 to 2025, this Hell Palace evolved as he did, drawing from inspirations within the Doom sphere and without. Predictably, the final product came out a little shambolic, a little ungainly, and wickedly, wickedly difficult. The first half of Neo Damarung bristles with supplies and offers a lot of leeway to doorfight, regroup, or simply retreat from battles. The Blue Skull Courtyard lets you cull everything from the comfort of corner cover, but don't get complacent. The BFG draws vials and cybers to you like sharks to blood, and nabbing the Yellow Skull unleashes havoc in the starting courtyard. The more progress you make, the higher the dead will stack, despite the Martians' best efforts. Their Red Key resurgence is valiant, but still nowhere close to what we witnessed in Map 26. Pound down the Red Key door, take one last look around, and ride the elevator down to Neo Damarung Part 2. You hear that, Mr. Doom Guy? That is the sound of inevitability. It is the sound of your death. In another megawad, this rainy hallway of cyber demons would be the start of Map 28, but in Necromantic Thirst, it's the start of Map 27. The majority of Neo Damarung's demons reside in this eldritch port city, an army of avenging spiders padded with uncountable specters over a plutonia of revenants, big blocks of hell nobles, mancubus archers slinging green napalm from above, too many archviles to ever possibly attempt a BFG dive bomb on unless you're suicidal, and enough pain elementals to clog an emu. All of this anticipates the arrival of the Agent Cyb army, which rips into the roiling chaos with fists of thunder. I can only give you one piece of advice. There is no spoon. Neo Damarung doesn't crack NecroT's top 5 longest maps, but its compound structure makes the humongousness more contrived and less tolerable. Grade B+, difficulty X. Map 28, Liar. Liar is a simple map. Concise by NTN game standards. That I have become conditioned to kill counts on par with God Machine and to seeing time sucks when exiting surely means that my mind is gone, but I'll never be as mad as William Huber. This Void Harbor reminds me of his alternate ending for Sangre 3 Minutes pour Vivre. That's 180 MPV for you English speakers. Constructed around 2 massive long-form fights and 2 smaller encounters, with 1 secret fight tossed in for fun, Liar ladles on intimidation between downpours of tracking missiles, smoking skulls, and RPGs. Wilu's effortful decoration largely avoids green for once, favoring deep earth tones of iron, stone, and buried bone. Yellow light trickles from windows in disembodied towers looming from the abyss, and the ground is etched with strange, jagged symbols. If you beat map 27, you fulfilled the Oracle's prophecy and became the One, so enter bullet time on this pointy platform to evade the machine gun of green, an arc of vials, and the 5 cybers shooting at you through translucent glass. The highlight of the map is this dockside event, which unloads 3 charnel houses full of pain elementals and another of archviles before sending in cyber-led legions of pinkies and skeletons to finish the job. Chaperoning the horde through its self-destruction, you're more cowboy than killing machine. The Megasphere prize for the secret encounter is the best way to prepare for the final fight, which is certainly the dullest in the map. A clump of revenants, a clump of hunters, and 20 vials in the exit. Give these bastards an inch and they'll take a mile. As usual, Wilu is in his element when orchestrating stadium-sized brawls, but the progression is a bit stilted between the red and blue key sections. The door to the elevator opens with no cue, the elevator switch itself is gray on gray and hard to see, and if you fall down on this bridge before you raise it, you're as good as dead. I also reject the notion that a 40-minute map can, in any context, be considered a breather. Grade A-, difficulty X-. Map 29, Phalange des Enfers. The dread. The dread of what's behind you. The dread of long jaws and long teeth. The dread of more and more green, more decay, more madness, more death. A river waits for you. Noxious green, serpentining through scabby black rock. From the acid-softened banks sprang life, molded into terrible forms by some sadistic creator. These things lived, but they could not drink. So they grew thirsty, and yet they could not die. Then you came along. After being welcomed by an Archvile quartet and slammed by a Revenant cave-in, you will be involuntarily committed to a long walk through the Valley of the Shadow of Death, and you will fear evil. Archviles are scattered all across the banks and crags. Revenant missiles will make you dance for your life in melting rad suits, and every single meaningful item is cursed with some kind of trap. You'll want to rush ahead to snatch up the BFG and go to town, but you only have so much strength. And how much of it do you really want to waste paddling upstream here at the very beginning of the map? Broach the Blue Key Grotto and the canyon suffers a major collapse, but this is mercy in disguise. All that safe ground to walk on is more than compensatory for the deafening squall. It's unwise to make an attempt on the Blue Key before eliminating distractions, but even menial moments like these are poisoned with the expectation of future retaliations. You can't hide. You can't slip under their radar. The air you're breathing has the stuff of unborn Archviles in it. They quicken in the fog like stars in nebula. This place belongs to them, and you die by their rules. After you extinguish the Blue Skull Guardians, the only way forward is through the narrow way that Wilu calls a metal temple in his text file. You cannot leave here until you get the red key. I have 2 experiences of this segment, and I will only ever have 2. The first was terror. Wilu cuts off your supply of cells and rockets, so players unprepared will be marooned with faltering weaponry. White-knuckling my super shotgun, wincing forward, breaking out in sweat as vial after vial appeared, desperately diverting them while struggling to pop their playthings, I nearly gave in to panic. My second time through was almost easy because I kept my finger off the trigger in the antechamber and had a stack of cells to lean on, but even with this safety blanket, the nausea persisted. The sickly tinge of green on everything, the blank psychiatric ward walls, the skulls smiling big. It can't be paranoia if they really are after you. The Red Key Containment Task Force is small by this map's standard, but being cornered at the end of a long hall makes me itchy, especially when the cells finally start to run dry. It's a compliment to say that every second I spend in this place is a second spent in this place against my will. Your return to the River Valley proves unpopular with the locals. Some of the next few fights can be defanged with good positioning, but pain will become your refrain in the end. Your skin will boil under the endless gouts of green and the never-ending maledictions of pale priests. The river will rise up one last time, a wave of misbegotten mudmen ripping each other to pieces in the delirium of thirst. Poison, poison everywhere, yet not a drop to drink. Another long skull welcomes you into the penultimate chamber, filled with smoke and bullets and blood. Red spurting from your eyes, streaking your face, red disentangling itself from an avalanche of rib cages, red taunting you from useless crosses. The bandages fall away as soon as they're tied. Die, and die, and die again. You're in too deep. You've gone too far. You can't quit. Maybe you're out there rolling your eyes at me, thinking I'm getting melodramatic or have gone on too long, but by now it's 2 hours that I've been here, dying and dying and dying again to shapeless throngs of pixels. 2 hours, and yet to even behold the title set piece. 2 hours, and not even a third of the way done, if the kill counter is to be believed. And is there a clinical way to describe what's on your screen right now? This takes a toll. It is not fun. So why do I persevere? To see. I want to see what comes next. I have to see what comes next. William Huber was inspired by a custom Quake map called True Love Waits in the fourth part of Hoyfam's Deus Vult. He wanted to offer an epic adventure punctuated by Dante-esque battles, something befitting the ultimate non-boss challenge in a megawad of perhaps unprecedented scope. And so he drew this. The final fight of Netherborn Phalanx makes God Machine look like a Lego set. First come the Archviles, Pinkies, Revenants, Cyber Demons, and Cacodemons, with mounted chain gunners and vials standing sentinel on the perimeter. The second wave is a planet-shattering scream of rage. You can hardly even look at it. A mega tsunami of missiles and joints and noise and split bellies and patters of explosions and little bonfires and a buzzing swarm of warheads, hornets stinging you to death in the dark, and then finally, a bright green knife that cuts through it all. You can't fight it. Hell's only weakness is its vanity. It has to humble you while it crushes you. So look away. Look at the darkness. Like Hoyfam, William Huber created an icon with brute force. 8 Plutonias of Revenants. Double the number of Arachnotrons in Doom 2, TNT, and Plutonia combined. Over 100 Cyber Demons, 1,000 flapping wings, 229 Archviles. I do not enjoy playing this map at all. The final fight is completely unreasonable and a failure as a video game stage. The strategy is to run in circles, taking 20 damage per second for your cowardice until the enemy destroys itself. You can't even really witness the beats of the fight because trying to watch will get you killed. It's just disembodied cyber death sounds and laps and lag until the plasma curtain swoops in, at which point you have to hope you left some medikits lying around. Saveless attempts of this map are folly for all but Doom's greatest ever, and many players will not be able to finish this map at all. Even some who were capable of making it here. Necromantic Thirst is not for everyone. Perhaps it's not for anyone at all. Netherborn Phalanx has malevolence that transcends Doom. Like Citadel at the Edge of Eternity, it seems to wish its players ill. It takes something real from us. Beneath the video game pageantry, there is genuine rage. Not Willu's rage at us, mind you. He's only the summoner. What I mean is, this place feels unsealed, not man-made. And I simply cannot reconcile the ascendancy of that accomplishment with how much I hate actually playing it. Consider this grade my resignation. C. Difficulty X+. Map 30, Puits des Dieux Sacrifiés. I arrive at the Well of the Sacrificed Gods in a daze. Angry and battered, I stop for a moment at a funeral pyre surrounded by the sarcophagi of NT's mapping cast. There are a few thousand Doomguy corpses missing, I think. I donated many more than this. Oxide's tomb contains an invulnerability which you can use to cushion the first cyber demon in the carousel preamble to the final slaughter. Pressing the second skull switch tops off the well and unleashes Necromantic Thirst's last 2 rounds of demon defenders. It's a paltry force. Nothing more than Netherborn Phalanx's backwash, but at the end of a potentially weeks or even months-long campaign, you may find yourself grappling with shell shock. How can you hold your nerve when all your nerves have been burned away? I had hoped not to re-experience the icy loathing that I felt here in November of 24, but I did. And not only that, I discovered mid-recording that Z-Doom lets all the monsters telefrag each other, which meant I'd have to start the map again. I just couldn't do it. 5 months later, I re-recorded the map in a new enough version of DSDA, and even with all that time to think, or rather not think, about the ending of this WAD, I still have no desire to pretend I enjoy it. The fault doesn't lie with map 30 necessarily. It's got majestic scenery, atmospheric command, and serviceable open field combat. It just happens to be sitting at the end of a megawad that enervated me and depleted a full tank of my patience twice. Grade B+, difficulty A+. So, I loved the idea of Necromantic Thirst. Then I tried to love Necromantic Thirst. Then I tried not to hate Necromantic Thirst. Then I tried not to hate myself for hating Necromantic Thirst. And then I stopped playing Doom. Necromantic Thirst is long, and too much. I will never play it again. But it gave me something irreplaceable. I witnessed one of the most monumental conjurations in the history of Doom modding. It was a sort of honor to be devoured by the cosmic monstrosity that the French uncovered. NT is a terrible triumph, unapproachably spectacular, but my praise comes from a place of respect, not gratitude for all the fun I had. There's a phenomenon in the Doom community where being unable to enjoy something is seen as a character flaw. Perhaps it is a symptom of wanting to be nice, or rather to not be seen as mean, but it has infected me. It's a mutated version of, if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all, rewritten like this. A good person does not dislike anything. At some point during Season 3, I began to trivialize my negative observations about maps and covered only things I really liked. The result was Dean of Doom becoming sanitized, forced, and frequently dishonest by omission. To believe that a good person does not dislike anything is to embrace a life of guilt-induced torpor. Negative feelings are natural, and denying their existence is unnatural. There is no contrast in a photo if it's all light. There's no room for music to breathe without silence. It should go without saying, but life is imperfect, and nothing we make is perfect, so it does no one any good to think less of him or herself for not getting it. There is no shame in being unable to engage with or enjoy Necromantic Thirst. I love the French Doom community, but ultimately, in spite of all the reverence I expressed in the last hour, I did not enjoy this megawad as a whole. My final grade for Necromantic Thirst is an A. That is my strange condition. Difficulty-wise, this is most likely the hardest WAD I will ever cover on Dean of Doom. It is an emphatic X. Now for my Dean's list. Valedictorian, Map 23, Spectral Shift. Salutatorian, Map 18, Caliga. Class President, Map 29, Netherborn Phalanx. And the dunce cap goes to Map 22, The Void Watchers. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for watching. Now I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge my generous patrons. Aaron Allen, Agile Jackson, Agu XYZ, Alephany, Alexander Levine, Alpha Skeeter, Artisan Talzar, Beatbeard, Birdburn, Blexor, Bochnik Schleba, Bitefire, Kapabitch, Captain Wave, Charlie Pryor, Cheesewheel, Chloe584, Christophine Place, Daria Romero, Dark Matter 2793, Deefers, Delirium, El Inferno, Emperor Spoon, Endless Moose, Francis T218, Galaquack, General Roasterock, Goth Ishigo, Gothic Box, Griffin Upchurch, Harvey Funbucks, Henners Lenners, Hexelix, Hot Tomato, Ian Hunter, Idiot Supreme, Jeff Hibbert, Jeremy Francouz, Jimmy Paddock, Jude, Just Some Schmuck, Just Great 98, Killplane, Quan, Large Cat, Lexi Max, Logan Lazalda, Lord Biscuit the Tossable, Lumnal, Livin' Dead, Mamatic, Mark Rowland, Mars, Master Drew 117, Matthew Gower, Matthew Widhaha, McJimbles, Michael Akins, Michael Jensen, Mike Merrick, Mikey Gutierrez, Miracle Water, Mixer, Mosicon, Mullywiz, Neurometry, Nick XCOM, Number 26, Not Obelisk, Novaseer, NX Avery, Omnibot, One True Purple, Pezaveng Jaj, Philip Coffey, Foo, Ravendesk, Razmataz, Red Doomed Earth, Reese Anderson, Richter Berg, Roofy. Thanks, buddy. Salt Bad Guy, Saf the Coffee Witch, Scoobly, Sean Grant, Snacker Fork, Star Cannon 399, Stonemason, Stupid Nick, Sylvester Priss, Tamariel, Tarakushino, Tavio, Terry J. Pendragon, The Lippy Server, The Refined Odyssey, TJG 1289, Turbine 2K5, Two-Time Grime, Velenex, Video Game Lover, Wandering Autumn Leaves, YBMO Not a Crab, William Huber, Yugi Boy 85. I just want to say specifically to the French patrons, thank you for making Necromantic Thirst. And thank you to all of my patrons. I appreciate you all more than you know. This is Mount Pain 27, and I'll see you in the next episode of Dean of Doom.